Good afternoon, Marie Antoinette. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to ask you a few quick questions about your past and everything to do with the French Revolution. Can you tell me more about your childhood and how you grew up? I was born in Vienna, 1755. My childhood growing up was quite like any other child, except that I was a princess. Lovely. Sounds nice. You married at a young age, didn't you? 14, I heard. Can you tell me more about this? To seal the newfound alliance between our long-time enemies, France, that had been forged by the 7 years of war, my family offered my hand in marriage to the future king of the French throne, Dauphin Louis Augustus. On May 7, 1970, I, the 14-year-old bride, was delivered to the French on an island in the middle of the Rhine River, and a grand parade escorted me to the Palace of Versailles. The day after I met the 15-year-old future king of France, we were wed in a lavish Paris ceremony. Yeah. Wow, sounds different. I know that being a public figure at a young age would have been hard. Was it? Life as a public figure was not easy for myself. My marriage was difficult and I had very few official duties. I spent most of my time socializing and indulging in extravagant tastes. For example, I had a model farm built on the palace grounds so that me and my ladies-in-waiting could dress in elaborate costumes and pretend to be milkmaids and shepherdesses. It served as a time waster for myself and my friends. Nice, yeah. Newspaper articles made fun of you and your antics upon the royal grounds. Rumours started to sprout, and they started to blame you for things that weren't necessarily your fault. Can you tell me more about this? Widely circulated newspapers and inexpensive pamphlets poked fun at my reckless behaviour and spread outlandish, even pornographic rumours about me. Before long, it had become the go-to to blame all of the French problems on me, and that I had caused them, all of them. Nonsense, really. Sounds tragic. Referring back to your last answer, the nation's difficulties were not necessarily your fault either. Can you tell me more about this one? Yes, you are correct. In fact, the nation's difficulties were not my fault at all. 18th century colonial wars, particularly the American Revolutions, in which the French had intruded on behalf of the colonists, had created a tremendous debt for the French state. The people who owned most of the property in France, me and my family, and some others, such as the Catholic Church, the First Estate, and the nobility, the Second Estate, generally did not have to pay taxes on our wealth. Ordinary people, on the other hand, felt squeezed by high taxes and resentful of my family's conspicuous spending. Nice. It makes sense now. Did things continue to worsen? I mean, with the blaming game. Was anyone else to blame? At the same time, conditions worsened for the ordinary French people, and many became convinced that the royal family, my family, and the higher class people were uniting against them. I continued to be a convenient target for their rage. Cartoonists and pamphlets portrayed me as an American whore, and that I did everything I could to undermine the French nation. In October 1789, a mob of Parisian women protesting in the high cost of bread and other goods marched into Versailles, dragged the entirety of my family back to the city, and imprisoned us in the Tuileries. Yeah. We fled from the Tuileries with Louis. Can you tell me more about this? In June 1791, Louis and I fled to Paris and headed for the Austrian border, where they rumored that my brother, the Holy Roman Empire, waited with troops ready to invade France, overthrow the revolutionary government, and restore the power of the monarchy and the nobility. They said that this incident, it seemed too many, was proof that I was not just a foreigner, but I was a traitor, which is complete rubbish. In April 1792, the country tested your loyalty. Can you tell me more about this? Louis's family and I returned to Paris, and Louis was restored to the throne. However, many revolutionaries began to argue that the most insidious enemies of the state were not the nobles but the monarchs themselves. In April 1792, partly as a way to test the loyalties of Louis and I, the Jacobin, the radical revolutionary government, declared war on Austria, my home. What happened next was horrific, I heard. Can you tell me more about this? In August, another mob stormed the Tuileries. They overthrew my family, the royal family, and locked us away in a tower. In September, revolutionaries began to massacre royal prisoners by the thousands. One of my best friends, the Princess de Lambre, was beheaded in the street, and revolutionaries paraded her head and body parts through Paris as if it was some sort of victory. I was distraught, angry, and could not help wondering if Louis and I were next. Okay, yeah. Husband was beheaded in December. Can you tell me more about this and his trial, and what was he charged with? You were then sent to trial. Can you elaborate on this? In December, Louis was put on trial for treason. In January, he was executed. After his death, Louis's body was taken to a cemetery at the Church of the Madeleine, where it put into a large pit close to the wall of the Rue de Enjoy, and then smothered in quicklime. That's what I was told anyway. The campaign against myself likewise grew stronger. In July 1793, I lost custody of my son, who was forced to accuse me of sexual abuse and incest before a revolutionary tribunal. In October, I was convicted of treason and sent to the guillotine. I was only 37 years old. Last question. What impact do you believe you had on the French Revolution? It is clear that for the revolutionaries, my significance was mainly powerfully symbolic. Myself and the people around me seemed to represent everything that was wrong with the monarchy and the Second Estate. We appeared to be tone-deaf, out of touch, disloyal, along with my allegedly treasonous behaviour. Writers and pamphleteers frequently accused me of adultery. What I was like was beside the point. The image of me as the Queen was far more influential than my actual self. Thank you so much for your answers, Marie Antoinette. We thoroughly enjoyed you being here. See you next time.